So what advice would you give to younger girls that are 13 today?
Listen to your mama.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Marcus back with another man on the mic. And today's question is, what advice would you give your younger self? To kick things off, we're at a senior center where they got a whole lot of life experience and wisdom. Let's see what they got to say. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would go back to my teenage years. I would say, having gone to 3 different high schools, my advice would have been more selective in choosing friends, not just going with the more popular person.
I'll help you be popular.
Making sure you pick your friends that have a faith-based foundation, are Christians. You would eventually make much better decisions.
But I had a pastor once tell me, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you a little bit about yourself. So that is right on point. Miss Linda, you got any kids?
Yes, I have 3. 3 grown kids, 4 grandkids, and 1 great-grand.
What advice today would you give your younger self?
To take better care of myself so that it would take care of me when I get this age.
Here's what I used to look like. Look at those biceps.
Health is wealth, right?
Yes.
What advice would you give to the generation coming up now behind us?
Oh, to pay more attention to what's going on and to participate. Be a big part of it because it's going to be their world. They're going to have to take care of it.
So what advice would you give to young people today?
Well, we're living in such a troubled time, different times now. Seek ye first the kingdom and everything else will be added. I know it sounds cliche, but the young people need the Lord more than ever now, and he can use you better in your younger years.
Irene, how often do you come here? And is it bingo day or because we got the boards in front of us?
We have bingo on Monday and Wednesdays.
What advice today would you give that girl back then?
See life first.
Like what, travel or what do you mean?
Yes, and that's what I tell my kids because I was a teen mom. So I had my first child when I was 18.
Speaking of your kids, what advice would you give them so that they don't have to learn that the hard way?
Life is not easy. And if your partner is not in tune with God, there is no way it's going to make it. It has to be God first in your life.
It's about to get serious. The bingo room is filling up. I'm only getting 1 board. I think you got 2. I got 1. But I got the Lord on my side. What's your name? What's your name?
Well, Lily Thompson, and I have the Lord on my side as well. If I had a chance to go back to 13, I would have put more into my education so that I could have gone to college with a lot of other my classmates.
So what advice would you give to younger girls that are 13 today? If you had a group of younger girls to talk to, what would you tell them?
Oh, baby, take your time. Take your time. Listen to your mama.
I am your mother. You listen to me.
B7, look at your board and see if you got it. You know I had to stop by here. Hey, what's your name?
Mari Guevara.
What advice would you give to your younger self if you had the chance to do that?
Oh, wow. Be more patient and understanding when it comes to your parents.
You have to wait in a calm way. You have to show patience.
You'll one day understand what they were telling you. And then the second piece of advice would be to basically just stop and enjoy life.
All right, guys, we checked out the senior center. Now we stepped outside to get a different perspective. Question remains the same. What advice would you give your younger self?
That's a good one. Probably save all your money. Don't ditch school.
How old are you?
22.
22 years old. So let's flash back 10 years or so. What advice would you tell yourself at a younger age?
I would say for my younger self not to stay angry for too long.
Ooh, were you an angry person at a young age?
Yes.
Prepare to meet Mr. Angry Eyes.
Honestly, don't listen to a lot of what people tell you because at the end of the day, it's how you feel about yourself, not what other people think of you.
All right, what's your name?
Isabel.
Isabel, how old are you?
18.
18. What about you? What's your name?
Josiah.
Josiah and Isabel, how old are you?
15.
Okay, so I got teens. Check this out. What advice would you give your younger self?
I'd probably say don't worry too much about what other people think and focus on your relationship with God. Know that, He's got everything under control.
I'd probably say to try the nicer foods at like the restaurants instead of just like burgers and fries.
John, how old are you today?
I'm 48.
think it out, but don't be afraid to take risk. You know, some people would probably get the opposite advice, don't be so risky.
Right.
But if you don't, then you'll have your whole life and you have never taken a risk.
Got a graduate. What's your name?
My name's Chastity.
What do you plan on doing after graduation?
I plan on going to school for business.
What advice would you tell your younger self?
That what you do right now actually does matter later, and that whatever you miss, you do have to make up. And to be aware of what classes you're taking, because some of them you might think they're going to benefit you, but they actually don't.
Well, most of it focus on my job and like studies, because that's like the most important part. Like everything else comes after that.
All right, so the question of the day is, what advice would you actually give your younger self?
That's a tough one. To listen to the older people that's giving advice to you.
Girl, stay off of social media. Social media is, everybody life on social media is fake. Don't listen or don't believe what you see on social media. Do your path, do what you want to do, and you're going to be good.
Listen to her. Unless you watching me on this channel, then listen to me. I appreciate it, boss.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I think I might have to stick around for some bingo. I